The twin suns of Tyrene's prime painted the horizon in molten gold and blood-red hues. Above the jagged cliffs, a monstrous palace carved from blackstone loomed, crackling with defensive energy fields. Within its highest tower, Queen Zyratal of the Zaranthe Empire peered out at the alien sunset, her four-fingered hand clutching the pendant that never left her neck, a crude piece of earth-made metal shaped like a gear. A symbol not of power, but of a debt unpaid. She had searched for decades across dozens of systems, but the one she sought was nowhere to be found. The human boy, no, the man now, who had once saved her fragile larval form when she had been helpless and alone. A moment of compassion from a species the Zaranthe had once considered primitive. A soft chime broke her reverie. "My queen," rumbled Captain Jorith, stepping into the chamber. "We have found him." The pendant burned hot against her skin. "Where?" she asked, her voice a low hum, vibrating with an emotion few of her kind would dare show. "Hope. Planet Earth. Sector 17B. The human's designation is Daniel Voss." Her hearts, both of them, quickened their pace. "Prepare my ship," she commanded. Earth had changed in the 50 years since Zyratal had last seen it. Once chaotic and reckless, humanity had now spread its tendrils into space, establishing colonies on Luna, Mars, and beyond. Yet even with their advancements, Earth still held its pockets of wilderness. And it was in one such place that Daniel Voss lived. A secluded outpost deep in the Pacific Northwest, shielded from satellite eyes by thick forests and cleverly placed jamming fields. Not for military reasons, for peace. Zyratal stood at the edge of the woods, her retinue of guards waiting behind her. She had abandoned her regalia for this meeting, wearing instead a simple traveler's cloak. This was not a moment for a queen. This was a moment for something far older. A promise. She moved through the trees with the silent grace of a predator. Her enhanced vision caught the faint trail of smoke rising from a cabin nestled between towering pines. As she approached, she remembered. She had been small then, barely hatched from her chrysalis, wandering lost after her vessel crashed during a failed diplomatic mission. Her kind were feared across the galaxies, tall, armor-skinned, and deadly. But young Zaranthe were soft, blind, and vulnerable for their first year. She had crawled into the shadows of Earth's forests, injured and afraid. Predators circled. A human hunting party had stumbled upon her, and while most recoiled in horror, one boy, a boy with dark hair and fierce, kind eyes, had stepped forward. "It's just a kid," he had said. Ignoring the others, he had wrapped her in his jacket, hiding her from sight, fed her, protected her, until a rescue beacon had finally led her people to her. She had never forgotten him. In her culture, a life debt was sacred, and she owed him everything. Now she stood at the door of his cabin, the ancient wooden frame a strange contrast to the advanced technology humming within. She hesitated. How would he see her? Would he even remember? Steeling herself, she raised her hand and knocked. The door creaked open. A human man stood before her, weathered but strong, with streaks of gray in his dark hair. His eyes, those same fierce, kind eyes, widened as he took her in. First confusion, then recognition. He smiled. "I was wondering when you'd find me," Daniel Voss said. Zyratal felt her throat tighten. For a moment she could only nod. "May I come in?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Of course." The cabin was simple but cozy. Shelves lined with old books and relics from 100 worlds. A fire crackling in the hearth. A pot of something savory simmered on the stove. "You kept the pendant," Daniel said, nodding toward the gear-shaped token on her chest. "It is my most treasured possession," Zyratal admitted. She unfastened it and held it out to him with trembling fingers. I brought it back to you. It belongs to you. He shook his head. It belongs to you now. Always has. For a long moment, they simply looked at each other. Two beings from opposite ends of the stars, bound by a moment of mercy. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. You've done well for yourself, he said with a grin. Queen of the Xaranthi Empire, right? It is a heavy crown, Xyratal admitted. One I would not bear if not for you. Daniel raised an eyebrow. How do you figure? If you had not saved me, she said, voice thick with emotion, I would have died. Without my rightful place, my people would have fallen into civil war. You did not just save me, Daniel. You saved an entire civilization. Daniel chuckled, a deep, rich sound. Not bad for a kid who just wanted to help a scared little alien. Xyratal's heart swelled. You did more than help. You taught me something my people had forgotten. Compassion without expectation. She reached into her cloak and withdrew a small device, no bigger than a coin. This is a gift, she said. A beacon. Should you ever need me, need anything, activate it. I will come. No matter the distance. No matter the cost. Daniel took it, his fingers brushing hers. You didn't have to come all this way, he said quietly. I did, she replied. A life debt must be honored. But not because you owe me, he said, voice soft. Because you wanted to. She smiled, a strange, alien but beautiful expression. Yes. They spent hours talking, sharing stories of battles fought and lost, of old dreams and regrets. Daniel spoke of the wars Earth had faced, of friends lost among the stars. Xyratal spoke of her struggles to unify the fractious Xaranthi houses, of betrayals and victories. Night fell. The twin moons of Earth rose high, their pale light filtering through the trees. As they sat by the fire, Daniel turned to her. Why now? He asked. After all these years. Xyratal stared into the flames. Because soon a greater storm is coming. One that threatens not just my people, but yours as well. Daniel frowned. What kind of storm? The Corinth Dominion, she said, her voice grim. A force unlike any we have ever faced. They consume entire worlds. And they are coming for Earth. Daniel leaned back, processing her words. And you want my help. I want your trust, she said. I want to stand with you. As you once stood with me. He studied her for a long moment, the firelight casting flickering shadows across his face. You have it, he said finally. Relief, pure and sharp, flooded her. In the weeks that followed, preparations began. Xyratal sent envoys to Earth's leaders, forging alliances that once seemed impossible. Daniel, though officially retired from Earth's Defense Corps, returned as an advisor, and more than that, as a symbol. Together, they brokered a pact between humanity and the Xaranthi Empire. And when the Corinth finally came, blackening the stars with their fleets, it was not alone that humanity stood, but side by side with their once distant cousins among the stars. The first battle was fierce. Ships shattered. Worlds burned. But thanks to Daniel's strategies and Xyratal's unyielding leadership, the Allied forces held. As she led the charge aboard her flagship, Xyratal fought with a fury born not from duty, but from love. Love for the strange, stubborn, compassionate species that had once given a scared alien child shelter.